rooting. So a lot of people who join the military, who think about it, say that they don't make enough money. But this guy, he's going to give us the method too, by the way. This guy joined the military, and while he was in the military, he was buying properties all around the nation. So he's run it up, he's got the method, and we're going to get it today. Let's see.
This is Adonis McShann. He not only has a Ferrari that I got to drive, by the way, but he has 7 other cars.
Yep. Mercedes out there, Ferrari.
Along with properties all across the United States.
This was the first house I bought using my VA home loan.
All while active duty Army, and he's gonna show you too. But before I was in his Ferrari, before I shook his hand, I found him on TikTok. At first, I thought it was all cap.
Sitting at 52K for the month. I think I got another 10 to 12 coming in. Funny enough, the military actually doesn't pay me that much. I put 92% of my check in TSP, so I only get $921 for this month.
Something was different about Adonis. The way he spoke, the way he was just explaining the way he does his business.
The question is how? I bought this place in 2021 for $370K. And as you can see, it is now worth almost 1.1 million.
I had to learn more, and so one message on TikTok ended up being a 3-hour-long Zoom call, and it completely changed how I thought about the Army, money, and just how to go about life.
You're able to talk to about buying this place. I'm just the lady that gets people into the, and I call them, and I finally get in contact with a dude, somebody that can actually, you know, and apartment complex, super old building, 1889. It's one of those historic buildings, middle of downtown Colorado Springs. My plan is I'm going to Airbnb the whole apartment complex, you know. Most people,
and it's working.
Give up some things. You got to give up a lot of things, actually. Like, you can't have the best of both worlds.
People have been using the military as a launch pad to become successful outside the military, like Duke Dennis.
It taught me a lot. It made me grow as a grown-ass man. And
I wonder when he got out.
At the end of the day, it made me who I am today.
I didn't know that. I feel like I've seen pictures of him in them, but I didn't know that I didn't register it as, oh, that dude was in the military. I know he's like 30 something.
And the discipline and the mindset that the military scopes out of you lead them to build an entire empire like Patrick Bet-David.
A lot of these things that you're learning.
This is one of the most valuable things, the ability to learn how to strategize at a high level to the extent of the greatest business on earth, right? Which is the U.S. government. It's the greatest business on earth. And they're teaching you their strategies and how they succeed in business. Of course, that would be information, knowledge, and experience you can't get anywhere else. And there's like a hardening of yourself because it's built into you. It's literally beat into you. Years of doing the same thing would inevitably make you good at strategizing or doing this or doing that. Just their entire framework of looking at things.
Help somebody who wants to one day run a business.
Ben Mala.
That got me out of New York. It got me in an organized control app, and it really helped me. It saved my life.
A lot of people don't realize how the pay in the military actually works. You see, Adonis is a captain currently in the United States Army. He commissioned as a second lieutenant, and if you didn't know, officers starting off their base pay and something called their BAH. Now, the higher up you go in the ranks, the more BAH you get. But what Adonis did is he used his BAH, which is to provide yourself housing or a place to live. He bought a house.
So I was like, I'm gonna buy a house. So I bought a house.
And so instead of paying rent, he was building equity. And he not only did that once, but he did that multiple times to get to the point where he's at now.
Bought my first house. The next month I bought my second house. And I was kind of targeting like low ball offers, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, people were accepting.
You guys need to realize that real estate can make or break you. If you have no idea what you're doing, real estate can actually ruin your life. I'm sure you all have heard of someone called Dave Ramsey.
Buy packages of houses.
This is the case for any business, absolutely any business. If you don't know what you want, you can ruin your life. Any endeavor that you go after can absolutely ruin you. It can be a relationship. Think about how many of y'all have gotten jacked up over relationships and it temporarily messed up your life. Absolutely anything that you go after, pursue, attempt to do, it has the potential to absolutely wreck your life and jack up how you view everything, jack up who you are, jack up your financial situation. So yeah, it's something to take into account, but it's not like the ultimate reason not to do something. This investment versus other investments, real estate specifically, in terms of the risk side of it, it's a lot more beneficial, or it's a lot more risk adverse than a lot of other investments.
I'm like, damn, life tough. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this shit.
He hated his life, like me sometimes in the military.
Me being me, I always wanted to make money. I was trying to get in real estate, so that was my getting out, really.
But that's not all, though. He also deployed to Afghanistan by himself.
My whole shop was basically getting kicked out of the military. I only deployed with myself. No soldiers, no NCOIC, just me. You know, that was rough. I had a whole battalion, basically.
But that was the turning point for not just his military career, but for his entire life. He knew that if he did not change something, he would absolutely hate his life. And you know what shocked me the most? He manages this all by himself. No property manager.
And real estate comes to all of them because they have a VA loan, which he keeps talking about, where he's talking about previously, and he's definitely going to get into. Because that is the cheat code by far. Just getting access to that VA loan changes
done
things.
All by himself.
People call me crazy, but if I was paying a property manager right now, I'll be paying them like 6 to 8K a month. And for me, I don't think they do that much. If you get a good one,
that's especially crazy that
like,
he doesn't have a property manager.
Call, and then they just call somebody else to come fix it. At this point, every property I have a round.
That's crazy,
that handles most problems that I just called them, you know.
Even with all that, wondering how he actually does it, and so I stopped wondering and I booked a flight to Texas. The person
you're up in the spider.
You know what I'm saying? I was in the front. Right now we're in front of the basically mission control center. Pretty much you said you live a boring life. Yeah. Like pretty much how many hours you spend in front of the computer versus out there?
Out of a day, I'll probably say
13 hours. Okay. Okay.
I try.
Okay.
At least
what would you is important in terms of goal setting, planning? How important is that to you?
You understand. Because 200K a month is the goal. I want 200K a month. I want 200K months every month.
Mm-hmm. So, do you mind sharing how much you make a month now?
Anywhere from 60 to 80K.
Okay. And let's talk about distractions. Do you stay focused in your work? Like, for an example, right? Looking at your, can I show the layout? This pretty much tells me you are focused on one thing and one thing only, making 200K.
There's nothing else in this house but a
There's a beautiful thing about that. And obviously he's going to get stuff. Stuff is going to fill up the house. But too much stuff in any place is just a sign of a cluttered mind. And Joel's saying, you know, clean up your shit's so freeing. Like, it completely mentally frees you. And the fact that he doesn't have anything else to focus on except for what's in front of him really does show where his focus is at, how he got
bed in an office. And no couch, no TV. I got TV room, nothing. So, I mean, this has been set up for me personally. If you deploy, you have a loan for 6.8%. You deploy, you get that loan reduced to 6% for the amount of time you deploy. What you do is call that bank, wherever you're banking with, when you deploy, send them your deployment orders and say, I'm deployed, I need you to reduce my interest rate 6%, and then I'm gonna reduce it to 6% while you're deployed.
This is my first time here.
So what's your advice on getting the financial fundamentals down to get yourself ready to buy a house or to start this journey like you are?
Credit has to be good. You can't have too much debt like you're saying. Like, you can't be I'm not against you going out there and buying a car, right? Like, I'm not, you know. But you also, you only live once, so I get it, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So you kind of mix it in. You should be into making you more money. And I say that with a Ferrari, right? So
3K, how much is the monthly?
3K, which, you know, people, yes, it's not a smart move, but I think the Ferrari will bring me more money. Yeah, it's going to put me
if you have a $350,000 house trying to sell, a $2 million house you're trying to sell, do you want to sell it to the person driving Nissan Altima or the person who pulled up to you with the Lamborghini? Obviously, it's something that would break the bank. It doesn't make sense. You don't do it. But if it's possible, if you can do it.
When I was in that car club, I mean, I met a dude who never met a person in my life that had a Bugatti, you know. I know him now, you know. I would have never met the guy that didn't have a Ferrari. At the end of the day, I always wanted to say I wanted a Ferrari. It was on my list of things to do, you know. And that's really why it's so important to have a list of things to do, you know. Okay. I made this list when I was 21. So I'm never going to say, hey, you can just use your VA loan and you'll become a millionaire, right? Like, that's not what I'm trying to say. But what I will say, if you want to real estate thing and actually, you know, become, you know, get more getting creative, and then then risk also is that you just have to accept at that point, right? There's so many ways that you can do it without actually having to put up your own money. But it's all about risk. Like, that's up to you.
Outside of just putting the money up and getting the loan, those other methods take time and they take the ability to network and communicate. Those are the biggest things required, because there is no site that just has owner financed homes. There are fake sites where you can waste money. I've wasted money on those, but you won't see any success. There just isn't a catalog. It's not just an easy thing to do. It's going to be much more difficult, and obviously that's the case. You know, everything is more difficult started without money.
Right. I never focused on cash flow when I was starting up. I focused on my net worth, right? By that, you know, I had friends that were trying to buy a house for 50K, 100K, whatever, 110K. These areas are kind of less than desirable. And those same houses probably 20, 130 maybe now, 140 maybe, right? The problem with that is, yeah, they're making money, they're making it every month, but
it's not very...
Yeah, it's not going up. So I would focus on what I would buy in areas that I knew were going to appreciate well, that I would research the area, see if there were any big city developments going on, and then that's what I would, that's how I would buy. And then now, once those places appreciate well and, go up, now I get to leverage to buy bigger more doors, like
those
the big
unrealized gains. The greatest unrealized gains in real estate with buying a business, your big gains are going to come from when you sell the business. With real estate, the biggest unrealized gains is going to be the fact that you have a line of credit now from that house. That being said, it's dependent upon the equity that you have in it. But still, like, once it appreciates, you get to reevaluate it, the value of the house, and then you can pull out the money, 80 to 90% of the value of the house during the HELOC. That is a great way to use those unrealized gains, but still
now
profit.
I can leverage that money that I just to buy big things that will now we're 5x, 10x. I like it a lot. Another thing is top 10 cities list coming out, whatever, every year. That shit, it kept hitting that in a couple of years. It was like number 1, number 2, or whatever. It kept hitting that list of places you should move to, stuff like that. So, good stuff. And, same goes for like when buying in Huntsville.
I wonder if where everyone is trying to move to is a generation-based thing. Obviously, there are places that are always going to be hot, but I wonder if it's like there's going to be a city that most of Gen Z wants to move to. There's going to be like our big city, our New York. Denver, Colorado for millennials, for example. And Houston for millennials. Houston and Dallas. And lots of other cities, of course, that weren't before but became really, really big or just have been exploding. I wonder if that's based generationally. I wonder if our generation is going to find a group of people to go and be a part of. Or, a city that most of us want to be a part of. A city to highlight. A city to
the CIA, or was it the FBI? FBI, the CIA headquarters moved, and then Space Force moved there. So that was the two big things. Huntsville has now blown up, if you haven't, and I knew about that back 2019, 2020.
How'd you find out about it?
Just researching, look up city developments, Huntsville, major city development.
And so why did you choose, say, out of all the other, stock, crypto, just start a business, choose real estate to let that be your vehicle to reach your financial goals?
There's an idea here that he's saying that he thinks real estate is different from just starting a business. When it's just starting a business, it's just starting a business. It's no different. It fits under that umbrella. It fits in that wing.
I have a saying that I say. So it's be undeniable, right? That's my saying, right? I like to say be undeniable. And that means in every aspect of life, you to the point where you're so good, you're undeniable, right? With real estate, it's kind of undeniable, right? Like, nothing that you can say can buy real estate now, you know what I'm saying? Like, doesn't matter what color I am, how tall I am, or how short I am, whatever.
On top of that, it is a cancel-proof business model. Like, nobody's going to cancel your real estate company then stop buying houses from you. Look at D.R. Horton. So many complaints about the houses that they've been building. So many complaints about them falling apart and being overpriced. And people are still buying them. The communities are still selling out before they're even done with construction. He's right about that.
At the end of the day, I own that, and you have to, people pay me rent. Like, they can't say, oh, I don't want to, because, you're this, or I don't want to do that because that's my place, I get it. You have to pay me. So that's really why I did it, because a lot of things like a business, right? Especially these days, you can do something personally.
And if they don't like you,
they could be like, oh, we're not eyeing your stuff, or we're not watching you anymore.
You say the wrong thing.
We're canceling you. You know what I'm saying? Or but in real estate, you
could be a dickhead, and
really, like, I could be a dickhead, and no one.
Great point I never thought about before this video.
Never know what I own.
So how do you keep your real estate protected? Because you get all this real estate. What do you do to protect it?
So there's two things I do, and I think everybody should do it, right? There's a thing called an umbrella policy, right? If you're going to keep all your real estate in your name, your personal name, and you do LLCs, then I would say get an umbrella policy. Umbrella policy basically protects you from lawsuits and other things. Then that's where you have the LLC, and then that's where it kind of protects you. And you also have your insurance policies, home insurance policies, like you have liability insurance in those home insurance policies too.
What lessons do you think you had to learn to get to this point?
Well, a lot of it is just doing shit that you don't feel like doing.
Exactly, yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the amount of time I had to be like, fuck, man, I don't feel like doing this shit, man. And like, you're like, but you gotta do it. There's many people I meet, and they just won't do what it takes.
They just don't want to.
Yeah, like, right, and I don't understand it. Like, I'll go work on a house at 11 p.m. or whatever, like, or working on a computer. Like people are like, oh, you're crazy. I'm like, no, the fuck, I'm not, though. You could be doing that same job for 40 years, or 30 years, whatever.
He's crazy.
And
He's crazy? Who's really telling him that, though? Oh, you're crazy working that. You're making $200K. well, you're working towards 200K a month, but you were making 54K a month when he met you. Don't remember how much he said you're currently making. I don't know if anybody's complaining about him staying up at 11 with that income being reported.
This and be miserable for, 5 to 10, and then I'll be done.
So do you think you're gonna stay in the Army for 20 years?
That's a tough call. When I always say if the Army started affecting what I did, I would get out. Does it make some things a little more difficult? Yes. No, they always say like the grass ain't green on the other side. There's nothing I'm missing out on anything because I'm in the military.
What do you think is a common misconception about the military?
I think people think it's way worse than it is, right? I think people think it's just that it's, I don't think people understand the different roles and responsibilities you can have in the military. Other things, like, I think a lot of people, they really don't, that's the benefits, the benefits of the military give you. You don't really, assess it, right? Most people don't understand it until they actually see someone in the military and they're like, oh, they're looking like good. Yeah, right. Yeah. Like, oh, yeah, they ain't gotta worry about this, they ain't gotta worry.
For me, was that Adonis not only looked like me, he talked like me. It just showed me that anybody could do this with the right mindset.
Do you think your early 20s should be the time where you were the most selfish and discovering yourself?
Sure, I think you should be selfish, but I also think you should be working hard, right? You should be grinding in your 20s. It's tough, it's a balance, because it is your 20s, you run, this is probably the last time you can really turn up without being looked at kind of sideways, but at the same time.
You can always turn up, and if you have more money, you can turn up in much better places. I don't care if my entire is meant pursuing the things that I like to pursue, especially these next 3 years, so I get it, but going out is really an easy thing to sacrifice. It's not like you're actually losing a part of yourself, unless you're an extreme introvert that just needs other people. But even that is a problem in and of itself.
You're gonna give up your 40s, and maybe your 50s, potentially because you slacked in your 20s. You know what I'm saying? Because now you have work. And you could turn it up 30s also, and change your whole life. The problem with that though is by the time you get in your 30s, you're probably having a family.
What do you think you do that other people don't do? That's why you got you here. That got you here.
I hard on myself, super hard on myself, right? I am harder than anybody could be. Nobody could be harder on me than I am on myself. So I'll say it really ain't my fuck up. Mm-hmm. I'm always trying to improve something, right? I don't sit things that are stagnant.
I get a lot of people. I don't know what I want to do with my life. What would you say to them?
I don't know what I want in my life either, right? So it's cool, right? What I would say is you don't know what you're gonna do with your life. You need to do something, right? I'm not gonna like anything really. There's not too many. There's only few people in the world get blessed to actually do something. I fucking love doing this. There's only a
That's a fact.
I wish.
That's the thing. It's not to say don't pursue your passions or try to do something that you really like to do, but it is to say realistically, you probably won't like your job, or at least the one that's actually making you the most money. Which means that you just have to dedicate time for other things that you want to do, to make that sacrifice.
I don't, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not either. But there's only a couple people, it's few, but to get to a point where you're I love what I do and I do it every day. A lot of people don't do that. A lot of people just doing what the fuck them by. I'm just being I'm doing the same shit. I'm just doing. I don't love anything I'm really doing. You know what I'm saying? I just do it. When it comes to I don't know what I want in my life, right? That's in my eyes. You have to be put in situations where you can figure it the fuck out. And